Alrighty, fellas, we have a big day ahead of us. Today, we've been working towards this for quite a while. Today is the day that we finally take on Jirachi within PokeMMO, the current limited time legendary within the game. You only have so much time to do all the 12 raids, get all of the wishing tags, and then transform them into a wishing star to even allow yourself to have a chance at getting Jirachi. And then you have to find 3 other like-minded individuals to farm, destroy, and conquer the raid. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I have no idea how difficult it's going to be. I'm just going to be jumping into it blind. So we're going to try our best, watch a few guides, and try to figure things out and see if I can beat Jirachi first try. Also, you know what they say in PokeMMO, guys? Step 1, buy heat rocks. Step 2, Step 3, profit. It's just that easy. Heat rocks to the moon, baby. I will take it. Easiest money I've ever made in PokeMMO. That is so insane that an item that could cost a few, like 2,000, maybe less at times that I've bought in the past can now be worth so much. As well as, look at my, dude, my mysterious ball stat, guys, has been growing pretty aggressively. I actually bought a ton of mysterious great ball 2023s this event, as I believe in that item, as well as mysterious ball great balls to, you know, some of those mysterious pokeballs. That's the big one that I bought a ton of, is mysterious pokeballs 2024, since their rate didn't drop and the Pokemon seem interesting. I didn't get that many ultra balls. They're always interesting, but let's go ahead. My goal was to get around 800 mysterious Pokeballs before the event ended, and I'm not quite there yet. So let's just spend whatever we have to, pretty much. Let's see how close we are. We should be close just with that. We're 20 away. Oh, there was some just listed for super cheap. We'll take those. We'll take that. You want to just refresh and get all the 15k ones. That's what I want to do, obviously. We're really close now. 15 away. We got to see if I want to be patient. I don't want to, you know, get too impatient, but we might have to get those later. You could always just sit, and if you're buying up a market, you know, buy it out in sections. Don't mass buy it out all at once. 15.4 is all I'm seeing, so we might have to just come back. We might have to come back. I've been able to consistently get these below 15k, so if we're not seeing a bunch more lists right now, we'll probably just come back. But let's go work on our Jirachi team. So far, I've got Entei, Darmanitan, Chandelure, and Charizard, and I'll have to see what else is needed. But that's my current 4-man core. Wait, I feel like so much stuff is happening in the like niche high-level PokeMMO scene that the average player, I'm not hearing about this stuff. I can't imagine that the average player is. Like, I'm missing out on a lot of this information. Yeah, apparently the person who got the world first Darkrai 5-star raid, JeJ, J-E-J, he was also the person who completed the world's first 5-star Jirachi raid. That's a big deal. That's insane. And I feel like if you're doing world's first like that, your name should be known, JeJ, J-E-J, because you're like rushing, you're paving the way, you're having to discover things. I feel like, once again, I've said this before, but if you're doing a world's first in PokeMMO, I feel like your name should be plastered in global chat. Like, you should get like an announcement, like maybe like even on people's screens that says like JeJ has just defeated like Jirachi, like blah blah blah. Like, he's the first player to do so. Like, that'd be sick. Give him like a GZ in global chat. Like, I think that would be super fucking cool. I think it's like, it screams MMO to me, and it's very like, I think it's still traditional enough to Pokemon. I think that could work, honestly. But that's a really cool deal. So congrats to JeJ. That is like wildly impressive. That'll be another Pokemon added to my list. Infernape is apparently, once again, I need to build I've been trying to make a list. I'm actually show you guys on stream. I've been making a list recently of raid PVM Pokemon that I need to make. So if you want to see like what I've learned from raids, this new like raid section or whatever, this new event, let's do mixed attacking fake tears Infernape. This was really good. So I try to make a list of like Pokemon that I don't have that are really good in raids. So here's what I have so far: like modest speed invest, just a fully offensive plus speed invested Magnezone. I have 2 Magnezones, but none of them were speed invested. They were all bulky. So I wanted a fast Magnezone. Drizzle Politoed is something I don't have, which is not good. Maybe even a Pelipper as well. I don't know if I have a Pelipper. I'm not sure. Special attack Hydreigon. I just don't have I don't have a lot of these like really strong OU monsters. I usually played lower tiers, so I have like 2 boxes of NU comps, right? I have Slackings, I have here I can show like I have so many weak NU comps. I have Xblouds, I have Piloswines, I have Dustnors, I have Garbodors, I have Granbulls, I have Tropius, I have Ludicolo, which could be good in certain, ways. I could say that'd be very Golurks, Electros. Like, I have a lot of Pokemon that were NU mons, but I don't really have any raid Pokemon. And now that I don't really play NU much anymore, true, cringe. Electrode setting screens is cringe, but sometimes he's needed for cringe strategies. Okay, true. I feel like I'm reaching the point where I don't really play PvP much anymore. And I mean, PvM just wasn't an option for a long time in PokeMMO, but I'm not really I like PvP, but I'm not a huge PvP player. I might reach a point where I sell basically everything in my boxes and I reset my boxes and I look to essentially just build PvM Pokemon, you build PvM Pokemon as opposed to just having all of these look at this. Look at this. I think I had a video on this. This was I tried for so long getting a 6-0 Magikarp sweep in OU. That was an old video. I think I got like 1 or 2 kills with it, and that was the most I ever got with like so much setup. But I've got some cool meme comps in here, but I never even use them. So I'd rather at this point I'd rather just get rid of all these, sell them at some point. I'd like to do a Patrouski like comp auction. I feel like that'd be cool. And then to actually try to build some good PvM Pokemon, like your Gengars, like stuff that is in OU, because I don't play OUs. I don't have these mons, so we'll work towards that at some point here on the off season outside of events. This is a good question. So someone said, do I get outfits when I turn in the the Swarm Pokemon, right? And you do, but you only got Xmas wreaths and Santa beards. I think I've seen a lot of comments not happy with this event, honestly. And that's, to be fair, the problem is that happens literally every event. There's always going to be a vocal minority who aren't happy with the event, which is fair. Like, it doesn't mean they shouldn't be listened to, This event has been extremely good, but I do think this was a first event that we've seen in a long time. Most events are really good for new players. Most events, you can make a ton of money as a new player. You can make a ton of progress. You can do a ton of things. Events are insanely powerful for new players most of the time. If you feel like other events aren't powerful for new players, you're probably just doing the wrong activities or something like majorly wrong, because most events are very, very powerful for new players, except for this event. This event actually did feel weaker, in my opinion, for new players. Swarms and what's the other thing? Like Swarms and Lost Presence and the Starmie thing just weren't that good. I feel like for Pokeyen per hour, right? Now, to be fair, if new players saw that and noticed that and were innovative enough and maybe did like the flame orb farming, I have a video coming on that very, very, it might probably is out by the time you see the stream recap, but I have a video coming out very, very soon if you're watching live. Flame orb farming is like very, very good right now. Iron ball farming is interesting. I'm not sure if it's good, but there's other things you can do, or you can like breed for profit. You can do a ton of things right now to make insane profits, but most of it's not playing in the event, so you kind of have to see that as a newer player, which is, that's pretty hard to do. But I will say, I think there's a good critique of this event being not as good for the average player, or for the new player, not average, but like for the newer player. But I feel like literally every event ever is almost always geared towards the newer and more casual player. So I think it's totally fine to have an event that is geared towards the PvPers, the PvMers, the money. Like this was definitely an event geared more towards more serious and endgame players, and they almost never have that. Most content is geared towards new players, as much as people like to think, so some new players like to think that that's not the case, and it is to some extent, but most of the time things are pretty, new players are what make a game survive and live and succeed. And every new player, you want to convert as many new players into veteran players as possible. And I hope that new players can watch this event and be like, wow, this all looked really, really cool. Therefore, that motivates me to want to get together PvM Pokemon, prep raid Pokemon, do all these things and be able to participate for the next Lunar New Year event, which comes out on January 29th. So if you missed out on the Christmas event, don't stress, don't worry, don't worry about FOMO. It's whatever, right? There's always a next event. There's always next year. January 29th, there will be a Lunar New Year event, most likely in game. So keep an eye out for that. But I feel like, I do feel like this event is more for the PvP and PvMer, but we haven't really seen many events. Most events are more geared towards the new players. So I think it's fine. You're not going to hit every angle with every event. Every event, like you're just always going to you can't make a piece of content with everybody always permanently happy. There's always going to be something. So I think you try to do the best you can. I think this event did the best it could. And I think this event was amazing. If I were to rate this Christmas event out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 8.8 to like a 9. I think an 8.8 to like a 9. I would give the Halloween event a 10 out of 10 personally, but I know that's like a kind of a that was a hot. A lot of people disagree with that, but I would give the Halloween event a 10 out of 10, and I would give this event like an 8.8 to like a 9 out of 10 personally. We finally did it, fellas. We did it. All 12 raids plus Jirachi has been achieved. This was a battle, dude. This was, even though like I had like pretty much all of the PVM Pokemon made for this, I'd have to make any new PVM mons, and it was still hard. I think raids don't have to take that much time. I think an under talked about thing. Raids don't have to take that much time. They're just mentally draining. It's kind of like breeding for profit, right? I always say with breeding for profit, after about 45 minutes, I almost always make at least one mistake because you have to have so much mental focus. And there's so much room for error. And I feel like raids are kind of the same way. There's so many opportunities to make mistakes. And you can do a raid within 5 to 15 minutes, right? You can. But it's probably going to be more like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And if you're doing them back to back to back, it's mentally draining. You make more mistakes, more difficult. Raids are tough. Like, this was tough for me, let alone someone who is like an average player. This was tough. If you completed raids during this event, you should feel accomplished. You should feel proud. It's not easy to do this. Most players aren't able to and don't, which is fair. It's a tough challenge. It's a PVM challenge, and I feel like we kind of gloss over stuff like this sometimes. So shout out to everybody who did all the raids, who got the OT Jirachi. I'm very happy to hang on to this. Don't ask about the name. Someone in Twitch chat named it. But we did it, boys. The point is we did it. Let's go reward ourselves with some shiny hunting. I haven't done Suicune yet. Suicune is next on the list. We'll do that like either tomorrow or some other day, like Monday. Someone popped a charm. We got to go Shunt, boys. I'm going to go. My goal today is to crank out time swipe hordes. I've been trying to go for single encounters, and I like those moments, and I did get a Roselia or whatever, and that was cool. But I think, I don't know, man. I was watching the Stream Recap 100 recently, and I was actually editing my shiny Pokemon reactions in 2024 is what I was doing. And I realized getting multiple shinies in one day is pretty cool. So we're going to try to do that a little bit more. We're trying to crank a bunch of times with hordes and try to make that there be an opportunity for that. So I'm going to head over to Tangela. Also because, number one, my wife really wants a shiny Tangela. Number two, the fact that Regenerator Tangrowth is now in the game makes Tangela and Tangrowth much more desirable as shiny Pokemon. So we're going to go over to Tangela, which is right below Kanto. I can actually show you guys really quick. Let's grab our full setup and I'll show you guys the spot. Okay, if you aren't familiar with the shiny Tangela hunting spot, let me show you really quick. It's a really cool spot you can do without Leppas. I'm going to be using Leppas just because I have the Pokeyen, thankfully, and it's because of the holiday boost. It's worth to use Leppas at pretty much every time swipe forward spot right now, in my opinion, because of the holiday boost. You're basically saving Pokeyen to some extent by using Leppas and saving time, right? It's worth the time save. So what you want to do if you're not using Leppas is you want to fly over to Pallet Town. You do need surf and stuff, so you want to fly over to Pallet Town, surf right here, and then come around to this spot. I'm using a relaxed synchronized Pokemon, and you can just do Tangela hordes right here with Sweet Scent. Really, really great shiny. Obviously, we saw like the beautiful green, really beautiful shiny, much more desirable now that Regenerator's in the game. Really cool. I think this is really underhunted. I think not nearly enough people go for shiny Tangela. So then, like, once you do like your inventory of Sweet Scents, you can just teleport back to you want to set your teleport spawn at like Viridian or whatever, teleport back here and then fly back to Pallet Town and then rinse and repeat. So that hopefully should be a really, really good way to should be a pretty easy way to go ahead and shiny hunt Tangela. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this for a few 100 hours and see what happens. This is a legitimately good question, and it could go both ways, right? John Doe said, do you think this event's vanities/boxes will increase more because people are shunting/raiding? I think it's important to consider that the more activities there are to do in an event, the more certain things will be neglected, right? I talked about this towards the beginning of the event, but things like have you heard how many people have been talking about the Wishmaker robes? Not that many, right? It's like, oh, how to do Jirachi raid. How do I do the Starmie scavenger hunt? How do I do this? How do I do, like, not many people are talking about the boring stuff, right? Like, or at least the seen as boring, right? There's some really interesting. The best place to like attack, and this is not financial advice. Please make all, this is like my opinions and my thoughts and my feelings. Please make your own financial decisions based off of your own, decisions, and your own, you make your own decisions. I'm just sharing my thoughts and feelings and like how I go about my personal actions, right? I do think one of the best ways to attack investments in the Pokemon market sometimes is to go at the least looked at thing. Not always though. Not like you never know. Not always by any means, but sometimes. I always look back at the one that I call to is the Unity Cape, right? I think the Unity Cape came out the same year. Someone just listed 700 mysterious Pokeballs. Did I see that correctly? Maybe I legit didn't see it correctly. I thought that whatever. I distracted. They all got bought. So that's insane. Okay, that's insane. Okay, the example that I give is the Unity Cape. The Unity Cape was an RP vanity, right? That cost like 4 million Pokeyen, right? This cost 4 million Pokeyen when it released, and it became 30 to 50 million Pokeyen very quickly because this cape released the same year that Shaman came out for the first time. It was the first time. It was literally, people don't remember, Shaman was literally the first mythical / legendary Pokemon we ever saw in PokeMMO. So nobody gave a crap about the RP vanity. Everybody was scrambling to literally get the first legendary Pokemon in PokeMMO. So it got forgotten about, and it's I don't actually like the cape, but a lot of people do. So the supply was very, very low because everybody forgot about it, and it became one of the best investments of all time for anybody who like invested in that, so there's stuff like that to keep in mind. I'm talking with chat. I feel like this needs to be like psych studied somehow, because it is unbelievable how many PokeMMO players I see go through this exact same process, and I did this exact same. I'm getting like 3 or 4 people, like some people in chat saying they would do the exact same thing. So someone in chat said, "Hey Pat, thanks for the PokeMMO addiction. I just, I've been playing Pokemon. I reached 1,200 hours, and it's because of your videos, which is so nice. Like, I fucking appreciate you. I wouldn't be here without you guys. You help me keep playing, have fun." My point is, this is exactly my experience. I see so many people get obsessed with PokeMMO, play like 1,200 hours within like 3 to 6 months, beat all the storylines, do all this stuff, develop their account, kind of get bored, burnt out, and lost, take a like 1 to 3 year break, 1 to 2 year, like a long break, come back, and then long term be obsessed. I see, like, this is exactly what I did. I played PokeMMO for like 1,200 hours in 3 months back in like 2013, and then I like from like 20, and I like kind of played a little bit for like 2014, 2015. I played a little bit, but then I had a really long break from 2016 all the way to 2021, right? And then in 2021, I came back to the game. I had around 2,200 hours, and now I have around 9,000, right? Like from 2021 to 2024, now I have this sustained, and I see this happen all the time. It's really, really, really interesting. It's very, 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 very interesting how I feel like so many people can go through the same experience in a game. It usually means there's some sort of pattern that is attached to the game itself. It's not just, us, which is really, really interesting. Wait, I didn't even think about that. We were able to do Jirachi in 2 tries. Bro, Jirachi took me less tries to beat than Tangrowth. Like, if that this is why I'm such a big fan. Some people were really upset that they nerfed certain raids. The problem is the raids that they nerfed were mostly RNG raids. The Gardevoir one's debatable, but like the Omniboost stuff, like taking ancient power away from Tangrowth and Jirachi, like that wasn't like they removed skill from the no, it was just you just removed resets that were annoying and dumb because of bad RNG. Like I had to do Tangrowth 8 times, 7 or 8 times because of Omniboosts from ancient power, right? We got Jirachi second try. Like that, like that's, and I think it's a good thing, Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our first factor sub has been achieved. I want to shout out and say thank you to whoever it was. It is the most insane way to support the channel. I will say, so all of the alphas that we do and all the mysterious balls will happen during the streamathon, okay? So keep that in mind. And I do want to say, if you are one of those people who plans to factor sub last minute during the streamathon, be careful because it might not track your number. So it's better, the earlier you sub, the better is what I'll say. It is funny to torture me and extend the stream by an hour after the last 5 minutes. I get it. but just be careful because it might not count. I don't want to get into like weird stuff like that. So Factor's the best way to support this month. That makes the end of the month stream 1 hour so far. Okay, 1 hour, and then I'm excited for. I think the incentive I'm most excited for is the 10 subs. I love the idea. I've wanted to get like a fog machine or like a snow machine or like something funny. I want to get like some actual quality background for a stream. I feel like we have some really cool potential there. So that's the thing I'm the most excited for personally. I think this is a really important point to talk about. Who's Senegod said, YouTubers make Pokemon look so easy, but the Elite Four fights are basically some PvP level Pokemon battles. I think for a lot of people, what happens is you spend so much time playing Pokemon or playing PokeMMO or whatever, that things become easier for you because you've put so much time and you have so much practice in, right? But if you're a casual or average Pokemon fan who plays all the storylines but then quits or whatever, and you come to PokeMMO and try to play the storylines, you never like play any ROM hacks or whatever, it's gonna be really hard. I think it's really important to remember and remind and encourage people that, like, for most people, the storylines are pretty difficult in PokeMMO. They're not impossible, but for the average person, I think they are difficult. And I think if you're someone who becomes kind of callous or unempathetic or harsh, like, oh, it's easy, blah, 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 like, blah, blah, like, I think it's lame. I think it's, like, there were times where I got stuck in the storylines. Like, I remember, and I probably still do, right? Like, I remember looking back and getting stuck in I got stuck in Unova for a long time. Like, back in, like, 17 when it released? Was it 2017? I think so. I got stuck at, like, Mistralton Gym, the flying gym, like, forever, you know? It was tough. It's tough. It's okay to get stuck in the PokeMMO storylines. I think it's really important to encourage that, remember that. Don't feel bad about it. It happens to everybody, but I think some people make it look really, really easy. But it's growing pains that everybody has to get through, and I feel like a lot of people forget those growing pains once they're, you know, 1,000, 2,000 hours into the game. I super agree with this slippery feel. I didn't even know what EVs were until PokeMMO. I learned about EVs and IVs from PokeMMO, and I feel like it was the best way to learn about them. It sucks that in most Pokemon games, EVs and IVs aren't shown in the game itself. You have to, like, calculate them, right? Based on the base stats or on the stats, right? So being able to just click a summary page and see the IVs and EVs in game is a game changer for most Pokemon players coming to PokeMMO. I think it's one of the easiest ways to learn those systems, honestly, in my personal opinion. I checked with the wifey. We do have nothing else planned for the night. If I get a second shiny just naturally while streaming, I will stream until at least midnight tonight, attempting to get a third. Okay? So if I somehow manage to get a second shiny just while chill streaming my normal hours, I will stream until midnight trying to get a third and maybe even a fourth. Okay? If I get a third, I'll go until I pass out for number 4 and try to get the most shinies in one stream / 1 hour and break the record for me. Okay? We'll see how it goes. Okay, apparently this screenshot is going around. I wanted to talk about it really quick. There is like a 99.9% chance that this is fake. So the way you can tell, there's a lot of things, right? Number one, why would they screen cap it like this? Why wouldn't they just actually get an in-game screenshot or something? This is a horrible screen cap. It's blurry. It's fuzzy. Let's just zoom in on it really quick. Why is Suicune's sprite smaller and weird? Why would they do that? Unless they're trying to cover over a different Pokemon. Why would they have activate windows in the bottom right hand corner? I don't know. This is one of the sketchiest screenshots I've ever seen. This is like 99.9% chance fake. Whenever there's like a chance to be like a world first in like a shiny or whatever, stuff like this happens. Yeah, I think someone got banned the last time they made a fake shiny Shaman screenshot, so I don't recommend doing that. Yeah, this is like pretty obviously fake in my opinion, due to a lot of factors. He has activate windows plus WhatsApp open. Plus it's a screenshot of a zoomed in image. Plus it's like a picture on a phone, and then he screenshotted it, I think, right? So it's a picture from a phone on top of that. Obviously I can't translate what it says and stuff, but I could always be wrong. Yeah, it's a screenshot of a phone picture. I could always be wrong. I think there's a 99.9% chance that's fake. This happened before with Shaman. This has happened before with many other like big world first shinies. People try to lie. People try to lie and fake to be the world first, which is really sad in my opinion. It's really, really sad. And it's embarrassing. But yeah, I think it's most likely fake, so I wouldn't worry about it. What would you think about them adding bottle caps to the game to change IVs for Pokemon? I'm going to finish your sentence in a second. I'm going to tell you right now, that is the way you kill PokeMMO. And I'll explain why it's so bad and why it's like, I'm not being dramatic, like why that's the worst thing that you could possibly do to the economy. That way your Pokemon from your journey could be viable in comp. I imagine it would mess with the economy. The problem is the biggest problem that you have to solve in any Pokemon MMO is how do you sink good IV Pokemon out of the game? How do you destroy good IV Pokemon? That's the most important thing to solve in any Pokemon MMO economy, and no one did it prior to PokeMMO. PokeMMO was the first game to ever solve it with the breeding system, right? So with the breeding system, it encourages you to breed good IV Pokemon together. You breed 2 good IV Pokemon, create a slightly better one, but destroy one, sink one out of the game, or sink 2 to create one, right? That is what keeps our economy in check. It's what gives Pokemon value, right? If you stop sinking good IV Pokemon out of the game, then good IV Pokemon will eventually become worthless. Eventually, you'll keep getting more supply, but never getting any out of the game, right? So eventually they'll just become worthless, right? Imagine, I mean, you can just think of it as like, imagine if they just printed more money instead of like, you know, they just printed more money every day. It'll eventually become worthless, right? Like if you print enough of it, right? You have to balance sinks, like inputs and sinks into a game, right? So bottle caps would quite literally be the quickest way to destroy the Pokemon economy and destroy everything that they worked to build. It's like that. It's that dramatic, as dumb as it sounds. The breeding system is a genius. Now it would be more convenient to the players, but conveniency is not always a good thing, and conveniency is not always good for the player's experience or the overall health of the game. Quality of life comes at a price to some extent. Not everything, but depends. There's always a cost of something, right? I understand the idea, and honestly, I like that it's cool, but I don't think it works in PokeMMO at all, unfortunately, or any Pokemon MMO. It works in single player Pokemon games, but like not in multiplayer. When you take Pokemon from single player to multiplayer, it just changes so many things. BikeMMO question mark. Yeah, okay, I'll explain. For those who don't know, BikeMMO, I was drawing a comparison to the previous clip because I mentioned, you know, it's really important to ask questions about IVs and bottle caps and stuff like that, because if we don't keep answering those questions, people will forget why it's the case, right? The reason why, because back in 2014, PokeMMO almost died. PokeMMO was having an economic crisis, and that's when they were trying to they realized they needed to change the breeding system. PokeMMO used to be called BikeMMO as a joke because so much of the gameplay from 2012, or like whenever breeding was implemented, it's like 2013. From 2013 to 2014 was biking back and forth. The breeding system in PokeMMO used to work like the traditional games, where you would take a good IV Ditto, breed it with a Beldum or whatever Pokemon, and just get 5 eggs, do that over and over again, and then bike over on bike route in Kanto and try to hatch as many as possible. And you would just hope for good IV rolls, and you would just try to get good IV Beldums or whatever Pokemon, Bagons, and sell them, and that was it. So much of the game was BikeMMO, and what that did was it kept bringing in good IV Pokemon into the game, but it never brought any out. And we had a problem where Pokemon, all good IV Mons, were deflating in price continuously, and the devs realized, oh shit, we have to solve this. We have to sink good IV Pokemon out of the game. We have to change the breeding system. And that's how we got the worst update in PokeMMO history, called the flag breeding system. I think I have a video on that if you're interested. It's a really weird system that it's a bad implementation of it almost killed the game, but it was already almost dying. The economy was in a really bad spot. But eventually, they came up with the breeding system that we have today after 3 or 4 attempts or whatever, and it's genius. It's like, this is a genius system, and it's been perfect for the game ever since. And the game was able to economically recover because of this system. So there's a lot of history there that a lot of players may not know. This is a great question coming from Jack, a Pokeforce dev, and the honest answer is I don't know. Obviously, I put a lot of time into Pokemon MMOs, but I'm never going to be, I don't know everything, right? He said, during a breed, does making the parents untradeable rather than consuming them fix the problem in a different way? I don't think so, because the problem is then you still end up in an economy where getting a good IV Ditto is everything, and then you just get one good IV Ditto that you breed with like every other Pokemon, and you would essentially make all of your comps and good IV Mons from that one Ditto, And I think it, yeah, you end up with a clogged up PC. I don't think it actually, like, I think it's still, and then you would hurt the demand. Why would anybody go buy good IV Pokemon from other people when they can just get infinite good IV mons from breeding from their stuff, right? So I think I love innovative Pokemon MMOs, and I love stuff like that. I think if you're gonna, I would recommend, I would personally, and I could be wrong, I would love a new Pokemon MMO to prove me wrong, but I think if you're gonna, I would love for you to innovate on stuff, but if you're gonna copy anything from PokeMMO, copy the breeding system. The breeding system in PokeMMO is just fucking flawless in my opinion, and like absolutely beautiful. What if you could release those? I still don't think it solves the problem, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I guess that could work, but I feel like most people would release the triple mons. What if you could release those Infernal Mons for a gain of, I still think it has the same problem, right? Of why would you buy good IV Mons from other people when you could just breed your own good IV Mons, and it puts too much demand on just having one good IV Ditto. Yeah, I'm a big fan of innovation, and I would love for someone to prove me wrong, but I would discourage new Pokemon MMOs from trying to innovate on the Pokemon breeding system. I think it's genius. I think it's perfect. I think it's hard to create a better system. And the question becomes, even if you can work super hard and create a different system that works, why would you, it's most likely going to be suboptimal. If you can make a better system, I would love to see it. Yeah. It took them so long to come up with this one, and I think it's a genius system. Oh, chat, I forgot to get my 800 Pokeballs still. I'm 13 behind. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. They can't be like, even if they're like a little more right now. Mysterious. Yeah, they are a little more. That's fine. I need 13. So that's 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. Wait, I got 14. Wait, am I going to be at 801? Okay, being at 801 annoys me. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to pop a shiny charm, and we're going to open one, okay? Because I can't, being at 801 is going to trigger me, okay? So let's open it. Good luck, boys. Boom! Cringe Teddy Ursa. Okay, now we go Shunt somewhere. Guys, you know what? I think in a time period where people are faking screenshots of shinies to try to flex, it's really cool that we can still rely on like known members of the community and fellow friends to link us like actual real shiny screenshots. So, I mean, shout out to Danny. He actually just got himself a shiny bonsai. So, I mean, congrats. He was like not an easy shiny hunt. It's actually like pretty difficult to do. I don't know if you bred it down or if you were like single encountering for Sudowoodo. Dude, insane shiny. Fucking congrats. I've actually been going for a shiny Sudowoodo myself for a really long time. So, super happy to see you get one, dude. Congratulations, Danny. What do you think of the idea of adding a wager option when battling random players? You can put up items / Pokeyen and the winner takes all. I would probably be opposed. I'm sorry, but I probably would be opposed to adding something like that to the game personally to some extent. But I'd also be open to it if it's what the community wanted and if people are already, because what it is, it's gambling, right? Well, to be fair, if it's like Pokemon skill-based matches, that I don't mind as much. Like, if you're like, oh, you know, let's have like a OU PvP battle. I mean, that's like, you want to bet some money on it. I think that's fine. But when it comes to like Metronome and stuff or whatever, I don't like gambling. I mean, I do, but I don't. So I like gambling so much that I don't do it, is what I always say. And I worry that I think this generation's getting really pushed into gambling. And gambling can be fun and can be harmless. But I always want to encourage people, like, you have to think of gambling as like, if you're gambling 1 million Pokeyen, you have to think of, I'm paying 1 million Pokeyen for the entertainment and for the rush. And you have to pretend from the start, I'm not getting this money back. Like you have, if you're trying to gamble for profit, you're boomed, right? You're already like, and I think a lot of people, most people do that, right? So I think encouraging a system like that in game officially worries me, because I think it encourages a lot of people to develop gambling addictions and lose it all, and like lose decades of PokeMMO value they've, you know, spent working on, and that makes people quit. And I feel like it just creates weird situations where like people
would like, if you win a lot of money gambling, you lose sight of the value and you quit. And if you lose a lot of money gambling, you're devastated and you quit. I kind of feel like the only people that don't quit when gambling are just addicts. But like, now anybody, but you know, if you gamble once a week or do like, you know, Metronome Mondays or whatever, I think that's a fine way to do it, to just like have some fun and be willing to pay for that fun. But I think there's a lot of other things you can do for fun. And obviously, this is something like I shiny hunt. I do a lot of things that are considered gambling in the game, like opening mysterious balls. But even then, I always set limits and I'm very like careful about it and stuff like that, right? So I just worry about more official systems being implemented in the game that are considered gambling. But you could argue that a lot of things in the game are gambling, right? So I don't know. I would be intuitively opposed to, I think of like the duel arena in RuneScape. I would be intuitively opposed to it. But if players are already wagering so much and gambling so much, it's probably better to have an in-game system so there's less scamming and stuff involved, right? Yeah, gambling would help with player retention once they're addicted. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know if that's a happy player base. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff like that. Every day you log into a game, you're gambling with your time. To some, but with time gambling, you can only gamble X amount of time, right? I can't be like, okay, with money gambling, you could spend like, you can literally lose. With time gambling, you can only lose so much at a time. Like, you can only lose like a second every second, right? With money gambling, you can lose thousands of hours of time spent making Pokeyen in a second, right? That's the scary thing, is that so much can happen so fast, right? Whereas like with time gambling, you can only do a second every, you know, bit or whatever. You literally can't go negative in time, but you can go in crazy negative and crazy debt with money gambling, whether it's in-game or out of game, which is why it's so dangerous and why it's so scary, right? If you get gambling addicted really young, like your 20s, you could gamble away. You can get enough debts to ruin your life until you're 70. And that's really scary. A lot of other, like yeah. So that's, just please be careful. I don't know if I'd want, I don't know if I'd want an official gambling system in PokeMMO like that when it comes to battling. Alrighty, fellas, let's go ahead and get 2,000 encounters, and we'll go ahead and call it there. We defeated Jirachi today, finished our raid saga, except for Suicune and probably Heatran in the future. But like finished the main 12 raids of the event, plus the Jirachi encounter. We got our shiny Tangela, had a lot of amazing discussions regarding PokeMMO and even the future Pokemon MMOs like Pokeforce. I had a great stream. I had a fun time. Thank you all for watching as per usual. It is Friday. I haven't decided whether I'll be live yet, Saturday and Sunday. It'll be up in the air. I usually just stream Monday through Thursday, but during events, I kind of do a lot more, but we'll have to see. We'll play it by ear, and then at the worst case scenario, I'll be back Monday, and we'll be doing the Suicune raid probably next time I'm live. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if you did not. Subscribe to the channel for PokeMMO videos every single day. Follow the Twitch for streams like this, usually Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord is down below if you're interested in that. If you want to go above and beyond, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, YouTube memberships, all that jazz. But really the best way this month is Factor subs. Like, it's the best way to support the stream by far. And you get awesome food, and it's 50% off. Like, I think 50% off plus free shipping on any sort of food in this economy is pretty nice. I'm a big fan of it. I really like Factor. I really like HelloFresh. If you want to stop after your first box and it's not, you find out it's not for you, you can obviously do that, which is really nice. But I think it's worth for everybody to try if you can afford it. If you want to replace a little bit of your grocery budget with Factor, it makes it a lot easier. You get, I like the protein rich meals personally for me. And you just pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes. You can put them in the oven if you want to, but I like the 2-minute, healthy meals. So I will see you guys later. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Good luck in PokeMMO, and good luck on our shiny hunts during the holiday boost. The event ends in around 4 days or so. Enjoy it while you can. I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno. Hey, thank you so very much for watching until the very end of the video. That means the world to me. And if your name is listed here, you're the reason I'm able to do this in the first place by going above and beyond and supporting the channel via YouTube memberships and Twitch Primes. Thank you so much. Have a great day.